all the time. Let me tell you what a libertarian is. Libertarian is someone who says you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want to be. Just don't force others to be like you.
Got it.
That's what we are all about. We are all about long-term solutions, not short-term solutions. We're all about changing culture, not just changing law. Law, we have to remember something. At the end of almost every single law is a guy or a gal with a gun who will put you in a cage. And if you don't want to go in that cage, he or she is going to kill you. That means you only use law when it really matters, not just because I'm angry, not because I don't like you, not because you should do some activity I think you shouldn't do, or whatever the case may be. It's only for important things like life and liberty and property and things like that. That's when you use violence. That's when you use force. That's what libertarians all about. Yes, Larry Sharpe is back here. It is Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live. Yet again, we are doing our best to keep having good conversations with libertarians, hopefully all over the country. I do focus a little on New York because I am a New Yorker. But yes, I do focus on libertarians throughout the country, trying to have conversations, showing people that there are many of us running. There are lots of options for us. And not just that, there are elections this year. Right? It's not just about the COVID virus. It's not just about the presidential election. There's a whole lot of elections out there going on, affecting our communities every single day, affecting how we lock down or don't lock down, affecting how our businesses work or don't work. Right? I ran a election here in New York State. I lost. I got this cool shirt, so I guess that's the saying. I ran for office, and all I got was this cool hoodie. But at least I did get a cool hoodie, which is something nice. But I have somebody here who I'm very happy to have with me. Someone who's actually running for a local office, the one, the only, Myra, I hope I say it right, Matejka. Matejka. See, I knew that. I was testing you to see if you got it right, and you did. You win the prize. So you are here. Thank you so much for joining us. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. First of all, my very good friend, Larry Sharpe. We have missed you in Iowa for the last couple of years. Every time I travel someplace, I always hear that Larry Sharpe is saying that Iowa has the best conventions.
You guys had an amazing, I've been there twice, amazing conventions. Absolutely. Amazing. 100%.
And we love having you. I think you have a lifetime membership pin.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
actually, it was $500. So what I did was when I went there to speak and raise money, I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. It's $500. And they went, okay. Then I donated it to get a lifetime membership. That's what I did.
It's amazing.
So, yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
You've done great things for Iowa, and we will have you back anytime.
Awesome.
Open.
So let me ask you, I mean, Iowa has a lot of stuff going on, 99 counties or something like that, whatever, a huge amount of counties, a lot of stuff going on. I got to ask you, why now and why the House?
Sure. So, I was the former co-chair of the state party.
Okay.
I've worked for the state party for a long time in the Libertarian Party of Iowa.
Sure.
So my full intention was to just help other candidates, just to be the backbone of every other candidate. We ran 2 years ago. We ran an unprecedented number of candidates.
How many did you run?
I think maybe 65.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we filled every spot on the national ballot that we could.
Love
so
it. That's great.
It was really good. But then I checked my own House district, and right in my own backyard, the Democrat was running unopposed.
I see that so many times. I see that. Yeah. How we've gerrymandered our district so much that a lot of times people are unopposed, and we don't jump on that. I'm glad you saw it.
Yeah. So I preach to people all the time about having choices on their ballots and how important that is.
Yep.
That we give people choices. So not intending to run, I felt it was my duty as the co-chair of the Libertarian Party of Iowa, that I walk the walk.
Nice.
Right. So
so you've jumped in and punished yourself. Okay.
I did. I jumped in and I punished myself for sure.
Yes.
And that was 2 years ago. That was last cycle. And this cycle, we're repeating the process again.
Nice.
Only
how did you do last cycle?
I got 26% of the vote.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it was amazing. I think there's only one other person that got more percentage votes than I did in the state.
Good for you. Oh, I love that.
So yeah, it was a good turnout. It was pretty good, and I think with a little bit more effort and having learned some more things,
sure,
and having a little bit more money, we can actually make it happen.
No,
it's an actual possibility.
I get it. People are afraid of you. See that? They're saying, "Don't beat me up too much." They're afraid of you. You're hardcore. So
yeah,
I surrender. No, but I love what you're saying, because a problem that the party has in general, and I'm sure you've seen it, is people decide to run for something, whatever that thing is, then they lose, then they go away. They get turned off, they get angry, they get whatever, and they just walk away. They don't come back. And I think this is a critical thing we're missing. If you look at so many Democrats, Republicans, as they build their party, they build a bench, right? So they begin to build a bench so you have a large chunk of people who can run. Sadly for us, many times, there's so few of us in a state or a county that we couldn't fill the ballots if we tried. There just aren't enough bodies in a given state or county, depending upon where you are, obviously, right? So we need to build our bench. And part of that, I think, is what you're saying, right? Obviously, you'll get more people who get behind you. They'll learn things. You'll decide where you go best in a campaign, whether you should run again or help someone else run or whatever is the right answer for you. And as your life changes, it's not always appropriate for someone to run. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, depending on what's happening in their own life. So you'll see that. Others would, I love what you're doing. It makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, I think when I talk to a lot of Republican and Democrats who are running for state house and in other districts even, they don't have a big support team.
Right.
And I think that's what's great about the Libertarian Party of Iowa, is that everybody is here supporting each other. There is, at any given point in time, I can reach out and say, can somebody proofread this for me? Can somebody check my graphics?
Yes.
Can somebody help me with this part of my social media that I need taken care of? And everybody is willing to help.
That's a good thing we have. I completely agree. Yes.
Support, and the Democrats and Republicans don't have that. So we're very lucky.
I need to make sure, because someone just mentioned that they just got their coffee. So I got to make sure you understand. This is Libertarian Drinking Coffee Live. The brand is strong. I actually have 2 cups. I have this one too. What's your cup? What's your cup say? More
coffee, less government.
Come on. How can you beat that? More coffee, less government. Amazing. Yes, this is that. The brand is strong. This is Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live. Again, trying to give some more libertarians some more good conversations back and forth. So please, guys, if you can, like, comment, share, let people know this is happening so they can watch. Let them know that there are libertarians out there running with good ideas and good concepts. And if you want more information right now on Myra, right there at the bottom of the screen. So 100%. I appreciate that. So look, I know that people are getting coffee. Awesome. They're having a chat. Awesome. Conversations are important. What were the issues that we should be talking about, or that you thought, I should say, we should be talking about prior to COVID? Were there certain issues that were really like hitting you hard?
Yeah. So my 3 platform ideas have always been school choice, property tax reform, and criminal justice reform.
Oh, school choice, property tax reform, and criminal justice. Okay, tell me about all 3 of those.
So, well, where should we start? Let's start with school choice, since everybody's homeschooling now.
Everyone's homeschooling now. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
It fundamentally, everyone is required to pay into the system.
Yep.
And fundamentally, everyone is an individual, and we all understand that our students and our parents have individual needs.
Sure.
So we don't currently have a market for individual needs. We have a one size.
Don't have a market for Oh, you mean, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
We have a one size fits all. The government will mold your children.
Yes, they will.
And
Happily, just mold them off for you.
Don't have to worry about anything, right? And that's what we're supposed to accept and take. Currently in Iowa, I don't know about other states, but in Iowa, we spend about $12,700 per student.
Rookie numbers.
Right.
Rookie numbers. Come on, right. New York State, we're at like 24,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know.
Come on. You don't know what waste, fraud, and abuse is. We totally got you beat on that.
Do we want to get to 24?
No, of course not.
We do.
Of course not.
But here's the thing. There's a monopoly that we don't understand. And it's a monopoly that the government has over our school systems and over our children. And that's to take your children and mold them and educate them. And you really don't have a market to be able to decide, to be able to choose. So I would like to propose ideas that open up avenues that more schooling choices can take place.
Are you talking about things like vouchers, about things like supporting homeschool, tax breaks for homeschool? What types of things are we talking about here? Or do you not care?
Any of those things. Any of the things that make the school market competitive. Because right now...
But don't you have a problem with things like, for example, truancy laws, school teacher unions, federal guidelines that, fund the local schools? Aren't there tons of those issues that I guess will get in the way?
Yeah, I'm sure some people will have a big problem with what I propose. The problem is our schools don't have any competition, so they're never raising the bar.
Okay. So you're a fan of charter schools and such?
I am a fan of education in any way you can find it.
Got it. Okay.
So
would you be okay with maybe a tax break for someone who homeschools or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I also want to put it out there that what we're schooling with right now is not what homeschool looks like at all. This is some kind of bizarre era that we're trying to do right now. So if you think that what is happening in your home is what homeschool looks like, it's not.
Okay.
So
let's move on to property tax.
Yeah.
I mean, for most people, they're connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
For most people, property tax and school tax, most of it, they're connected. So tell me about the property tax piece.
So I would like to propose that once your property is bought and paid for, you should not owe the government anything after
Wow, that's radical.
A newspaper actually called me radical.
Yes, this is radical. Look, I'm not saying I disagree. I'm just saying that is not what most people talk about, right? Most people don't talk about getting rid of property tax. That for most people is the way we fund things, right?
So on the other side of that, if you want to encourage people to stay in the state, if you want to encourage people to be debt free, if you want to encourage a lifestyle for strong communities, then we have to give them an incentive to do so.
So you're saying, this is something very interesting. What you're saying is we eliminate property tax, not necessarily for the financial piece, but we eliminate property tax for the community aspect, for the people.
Yeah, we make everybody better that way.
I've never heard it put that way. It's not bad. Most of the time when I hear people talk about it, it's because of the financial burden. But you're actually talking about it growing the community and keeping people in the places where they own the property.
Yeah, because who wants to live in Iowa? I mean, come on, Larry.
It is beautiful. Just
it is a beautiful state.
It is beautiful, yeah. But for a guy like me, I need big cities. There's more people in New York City than there is in Iowa, right?
Yeah.
How many people in Iowa right now?
3 million.
3 million. So almost as many in my borough, Queens, 2.2 million. Almost. Yes. That's awesome. So, yeah. So, no, I love the idea. So is the concept just cutting property tax? If that's the concept, obviously someone's going to say, Myra, you can't do that. How are we going to pay our bills? Right? Clearly, that's the argument. So how do you handle that obvious argument?
Well, I think the obvious argument needs to not be an argument. It needs to be a discussion. And it needs to be something that we talk through, because I don't know all the answers. I have some suggestions, but I don't know all the answers. And I think that it's a piece that people can have a discussion around. But if at the end of the day, we want to build stronger communities, then we need to get the government out of the way to help do that.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you saying, tell me if I'm misquoting you, what I'm hearing you saying is you're not necessarily about here is the answer. You're more about let's move towards this answer. Let's have a conversation about how to fix it. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I like it. All right. Let's move on to criminal justice.
All right. Well,
I mean, I know. I was thinking the same thing. It's massive. I mean, we could spend an hour just on that, but
we really could.
But Jimmy said, "Don't beat me up." So be good to me. Just don't spend. Give me like your top 2 or 3 pieces.
Sure. So bail reform would be a big piece that I would look at.
Just happened in New York State.
Which is awesome.
Yep.
I mean, was it in a good way? I haven't kept up.
Not a great way, but not a terrible way, but not great either. What happened? This is a little bit of inside New York State baseball. Our governor just officially took over all 3 parts of the government. So now Democrats completely own everything in all of New York State, New York City. I'm sorry, all of New York City, as an example, for our town city council, 2 Republicans. That's it. 8.5 million people, 2 Republicans. Everyone else Democrat. So Democrats control the entire state now completely. So when they put a bail reform bill up, they assumed there'd be some fight. There was none. They just went, whatever you say, dear leader. And His Majesty stamped it. And there were problems with the bill. So they're going to have to fix it. But to be forward, I'm still happy it happened because without it, there's no bail reform. So they were going to talk about it and try to fix it, make it better. I'm okay with that. But that's what happened in our state. They finally did it in New York State.
So our governor just signed into law last year that our felons could get their voting rights back.
Look at that. They can vote once they're – oh, my God, look at that.
Right. And so that makes me very happy. There is some red tape that has to happen so that you can apply to get your voting rights back, right?
Yeah, we have that in New York State too.
So I think it should be the process should be a little easier. But I'm happy in the direction that it's going. So
I guess the question is, what kind of documentation or form should there be?
There shouldn't be any.
That's my point, right? I think shouldn't it be something like I just submit my form that says I'm no longer in jail, whatever that form is, right?
They should already know that people are not in jail. Yeah,
right. Here, I'm not in jail, therefore I should vote again, right? I mean, it seems to make sense to me, right?
So yeah,
we have it's called a certificate, of something from disability. Certificate of something from disability is what we have in New York State, something like that.
Geez. Yeah. But I mean, as far as like,
so bail reform's one. Is there another?
Yeah, like I would just like to see the end of the drug war. I was one of the biggest. I mean, hemp, even CBD oil is a class 3 felony right now.
Absolutely, I get it.
So you can go to jail for having oil in your purse.
I know.
And be a felon.
Yes, and in New York State, you're a violent felon.
Oh, sure. So, I mean, I would like everything obviously, from a libertarian perspective, I would like everything to look like if there's no victim, there's no crime.
100%.
Right? I mean,
of course we want that.
That we push for.
Absolutely.
but I mean, I would like to stop jailing people because they're poor or because they're mentally ill.
I think that would be a good idea too.
So
yes.
That's the big tent idea of my criminal justice reform.
I love it. So let me ask you, COVID crisis has obviously hit us. Everyone's talking about it. It's one of the reasons why we're doing this now, because we're doing it live, not in diners anymore. We can't, right? It's just one of the reasons. Right. So now that it's hit you and you're feeling it, it's happening, did that change your top issues? Or are they still the same? Or they've adjusted or shifted? Did anything change?
Well, I honestly don't know yet.
Okay.
Until I can get out and door knock and talk to people and touch the people, I'm not going to have any kind of idea what their issues have changed to. I'm the only one on the ballot as of right now.
Wow.
So the Republican and Democrat primary isn't until June.
Okay.
So I'm officially on the ballot, and I'm the only one as of right now.
Nice. So do you think that they'll run again only one person? You'll have two opponents?
No, the Republicans don't have anyone on their primary ballot. So it'll be just me versus a Democrat again, which is fine, because then I can door knock just Republicans and say, hey, there's no Republican choice. You need to come out and know about me.
So where are you on the ballot in Iowa?
I'm House District 70.
There we go. House District 70.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
So this is something that I just saw Bethany put out. My biggest issue is the no normal till a vaccine. I see that going to mandatory vaccines. Mm-hmm. Do you have a comment on any of that?
I am not a fan of mandatory vaccines because I am a fan of my body, my choice.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be something that everyone chooses for themselves and for their own families. I think we can all make the best choices for ourselves. We don't need the government to do a one-size-fits-all approach on anything.
Okay. I got to tell you, I have two problems with that. The first one is the new norm starts immediately, right? I don't want to sit back and just say, okay, lock yourself in your house until some scientist somewhere figures out a vaccine, whenever that person or those people figure it out. We should assume that there will be no vaccine. Whether you want to take it or not, that right now isn't my issue. My first issue is, why should we assume there will be one? What if there isn't? What if it takes 5 years? Who knows? What if by the time they make the vaccine, this thing's mutated to something else, right? Who knows? So we should not assume there's going to be a vaccine. But not just that, this is going to happen again, right? There's going to be another virus. I don't know what, next year, 20 years, 5 years, whatever.
There's going to be a second wave of the same one.
Bingo, something, right? It's going to happen again. When it happens again, is that always our answer? Shut the economy down, destroy our social structure until some guy or gal figures out a vaccine. We have to be able to function in a new norm now. And if a vaccine comes out, awesome. And if you want that vaccine, please take it. Absolutely. I'm not anti-vax, but I'm like you. I'm anti-mandate.
Yes.
I'm anti-mandate, right? But if you want that vaccine, please take it. I hope you do. I hope it's the perfect vaccine. Hope it works perfectly for you. Please take it if you want to. I think it's awesome.
Well, and I feel the same thing about the quarantine and how certain states have handled it. I actually think Iowa's doing a great job. They haven't mandated a lockdown. They've requested one.
Yes.
They've said, hey, maybe for the sake of your family, you should stay home. And people, for the most part, have been. We're also a pretty rural state, so we're kind of separated already.
Right? Yes, you're not like us in New York City, in Manhattan. 1 square mile of New York in Manhattan, 60,000 people.
Oh yeah. That's crazy.
Yes, I tell this story often. There are buildings in Manhattan where a UPS truck driver, his entire route is several floors of one building.
Oh my God.
His entire route. Several floors.
Yes. His whole day is just knocking on doors.
Yes, he pulls up, he does it, comes back, goes to the comes back, pulls up again, goes back up and down. Yeah. That's his entire route is one building. Yes.
That's crazy.
It is absolutely crazy. Yes.
So,
absolutely.
But I mean, there are actually people that are begging for a lockdown. They're
100%.
wanting to see the governor do more, so it looks like she's being, harder on the COVID.
Yes. Yeah, we're at war, so everybody surrender.
They want to see the National Guard in the street. They want to see, people being shot dead, I guess, because that's not deadly.
Because that's strength. What I love is how both sides, left and right, are all about their freedom until they care, right? All about the law until they care. Everything changed. Laws are only good when they like them, and they're bad when they don't like them, right? And constantly.
I think it's odd how people are like, you're so selfish because you want people to go back to work. Well, you're selfish for making me want to stay home.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Who's a selfish person here? I'm with you. Absolutely. All right. So with that in mind, right? Most of that's fear, right? People are afraid. So the question becomes, Myra, how do we, as the only third party, the only party for freedom, the only real choice from a duopoly, it's us, how do we get around that fear that was going to make people want to rush to the left or rush to the right to their guy, right? If they lean right, they're going to rush to Trump and say, Trump's going to save me. If they lean left, they're going to rush to Biden and say, Biden's going to save me. How do we get away from that and say, no, I can vote third party. I can vote libertarian. I can vote for my freedom. I can do this. It makes sense. How do we get past that fear? Or how do you think you can?
Well, if I knew the specific answer to that question, I'd probably be worth millions of dollars right now.
Well, I hope you are. Give me the answer. Let's make some cash. Let's make some money here.
So, but I think that we just don't buy into the fear. I think that we continue to stay level-headed and that we speak the truth when we know the truth. And when we don't know the truth, we say, hey, let's find the truth together. And we walk with people through this. This isn't a battle. This is I'm with you. I'm on your side.
I say it all the time. I don't want to fight the left. I don't want to fight the right. I want to bring them to us.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want to fight them. I want to convert them.
Right.
Absolutely. I totally get it. It's great. So with that in mind, how do we then make actual impact? Right? Because now what you're saying is I want to sit with them, chat with them. I agree. But with the COVID, we can't go out and do the shaking hands and kissing babies things anymore, right? And even when we get out, now we're going to be fist bumping and blowing kisses, right? We're not going to be doing the same things anymore. Do you think you have a way or comment on that?
Well, I mean, it certainly changes the strategy, right?
Okay.
And I'm not sure that anybody has gone into this kind of strategy before. We're all experiencing new platforms of reality right now. So I think we're just going to have to keep going at it day by day and leaning on each other for new ideas on how we bring impact to other people.
Okay. All right. So are there any obvious niches, people that you think will obviously be, right, she's the one. I've got to grab her. Are there any obvious niches for you?
Sure. I think small government Republicans.
Okay.
Absolutely. Lean towards me. People who like their gun rights.
Gun rights, sure. Yep, 2A, sure.
I got my petitions in right as we were going into quarantine. So we got them in right under the gun. So even as I was knocking on doors to get petitions, the first question people would ask me is, where do you stand on gun rights?
Wow, really?
Yeah. And they'd be like, give me your effing clipboard right now. so people care about it.
So your district 2A is a big deal.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Not in mine.
Well, I mean, in Iowa in general, it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, not in my district.
No.
Yeah, not a winning issue in my district. Yeah.
Probably not. But I mean, I also have there's a population of refugees from West Africa.
Okay.
In my district as well, and a lot of them are coming confused about how to work the government system.
Yeah, I'm sure in their home country there's a lot of different ways of doing things that government works differently. Sure.
Well, yeah, and a lot of them don't even know what their home country is because they've been refugees for generations at a time.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
Yeah. So they've been moving in West Africa for so long that they don't even know where home is.
Got it.
Anymore. Sorry, my cat.
Cats are having a tough time with their caretakers home all the time now, right? They're not accustomed to it.
They are. But I think it's fundamentally strange. Like when I go to a forum, and it's being translated in Swahili, to the audience, and I'm telling them, don't rely on the government to get the things done that you need to be done. Because if you need to learn something, you should rely on your community.
Yes.
And if you need help, then you should ask your community to help you. But don't wait for the government to do it, because it's going to be less effective and it's going to be more costly, and it's never going to get done in time.
Always true. And it's going to be hard to do.
Yeah. So, and then I'm sitting next to a Democrat who says, "Oh, she wants to scare you." No, I don't want to scare you.
Well,
I'm trying to tell you how to help yourself.
I want to scare them a little bit. You don't want them to be complacent. Oh, I like that. Empower you.
Yes. So,
I love that. So let's look. I know you're going to run this thing so that you can win. And I know the goal is victory.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't win the seat, have you decided what a consolation prize is? What's the impact? Because when I ran, it was easy, right? I ran for governor. If I lose, I get ballot access. Mine was simple, right? What about yours? Is yours similar? Is there something different? Have you decided what a consolation prize would be?
So I already decided that last time I ran, and I thought it was important that I ran on an education platform, that we get libertarian ideas out into the ears and the eyes of the general public, so people know what libertarianism looks like.
Okay.
So being able to go to the editorial debate forums, being able to speak new ideas, being able to say what I thought about property tax and have Republicans go, "That's a fantastic idea."
But how do you, I get that, and I'm glad you're going to do that. How do you know it's like, how do you measure that? How do you know that it landed, right? How do you know that they actually got it or that somebody heard it? Is it by, I'm making this up, is it by number of new libertarian registrants? Is it by the changing of the policies of the person in charge? Is it by being on public radio? Is it by being in the 6 o'clock news? How do you know it's working?
I know it's working when other politicians pick up my platforms.
Ooh, I like that. Good.
So when they say that's a really great idea, I want to carry that too, that's a win for me.
Got it. Okay. I like that. Very good. Very good. All right. So I remember when I was on Joe Rogan, at the end of it, he says, "Larry, are these your ideas?" I said, "Yeah, team and I came up with them. We work on them, come up with our ideas." He goes, "You better lock them down." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, people will take them." I was like, "Good. Take them all. I don't have to run then, right? If you take all of them, I don't have to run anymore. I can go back to work." So,
I think that's excellent. I think it's great when I see Democrats picking up libertarian ideas and when Republicans are picking up libertarian ideas. That's the whole reason that we do what we do, is so that we can have a freer society. So if they're going to make it freer.
Yeah. You hear I've said things that some people disagree with, but this is what I believe. The liberty movement is not the Libertarian Party. I think the liberty movement is the umbrella, right, where everything falls under, to include activism, to include pushing for ballot access, to include pushing for specific, referendums. That's everything, right? That's the whole thing. The Libertarian Party is just that's the political arm of the liberty movement. But the goal of the liberty movement is what you said, to have a freer, better country, right? That's a world, actually, right? But for us, country, obviously, us are individual states, but the whole world, right? To be freer, a freer world. So if me running for office or you running for office pushes that forward, that's a win. Just as activists will push it forward, just as people doing ballot access will push it forward, as people putting referendums will push it forward, as people doing, stunt activism will push it forward, right? As people move it forward, I think we're all winning. I'm agreeing, right?
Yeah. So, and just to be fair, the Libertarian Party in most states is still so new that it's hard to adjust from an activist mentality into a politician mentality. So we're all baby stepping in this situation together. We're all doing it together.
Myra, that is a brilliant point, which I should be bringing up more. You're exactly right. So many of us in the party have been so accustomed to being activists that when you move into having to be someone who cares about counting votes, right? Which activists tend to not care about counting votes, right? And I get it. Again, it's a different role within the movement, right? So they tend to not care about counting votes. I'm a politician. I care about counting votes, right? I care about counting votes. So we have to move ourselves back and forth and almost change our hats sometimes and go, right, I'm not an activist right now, I'm a politician. Okay, now I'm an activist, right? And and it's very hard. I think you're totally right. And we don't always get it. And I think the worst part is sometimes we fight each other because we think like we feel like we're not on the same page when we really actually are on the same page. We're just counting a different part of the movement, right? We're counting a different way, but we're still moving towards the same place. And there are some people who still think the party is the movement. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. So it's a great point. I'm glad I need to say that more. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. But John is talking about candidates on the down ticket. And one of the things that I've spoken about often is, people often will also get mad and say, I'm angry because, why are we spending all the time on the top of the ticket? Or why are we spending all the time on the bottom of the ticket, or back and forth? I think it's a false dichotomy. I think we can do both and should do both. Right? Top of the ticket tends to get most of the press, but bottom of the ticket has most of the highest chance of victory. If we can combine those two, we're rocking and rolling.
So if I can give you a little bit of statistics for my cycle 2 years ago, I got 26% of the vote, but I also had 35% undervote. And for those that don't know what those numbers mean, it means that people came to the ballot and they only voted for governor and didn't vote down ticket.
Right.
So they didn't know, they either didn't recognize my name well enough to be able to vote for me, or they didn't know enough about the race.
Oh, sure.
To vote for me or to make a choice either way.
Sure.
Or they just came to vote for governor and leave.
Very common.
So there's probably a third in that, right? But just getting name recognition out there could have had
I agree.
an impact on how many votes you received.
Absolutely. I ran in 2018, I also crossed the state again in 2019 supporting down ticket candidates. So that when I showed up, the press would pay attention, right? Oh, it's the former governor candidate. Oh, let's pay attention. And then I was talking about the other guy or gal who was running. I think that's exactly right. The more name recognition the top ticket gets, if it can also get some on the bottom, now we're rocking and rolling. In 2016, when I was trying to support Gary Johnson, some of you may have seen my couple of times when I was on TV, I mentioned other down ticket candidates on the same TV show when I was talking about Gary Johnson. I think more of us have to do that, right? More of us do.
I think for the most part, most of the presidential candidates have been doing a really good job. I've worked closely with a lot of them. I work on Dan Berman's team.
Sure.
He did my website for me. He's been really, really helpful.
I had him on the show.
Yeah, we're part of the SWAT team. So we're helping other candidates across the country, and we will take on and help anybody else that we that wants to join us.
Well, speaking of that, when I had Dan on, Dan was talking about, talking to the left and to the right.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about talking to the right. Just now, Kevin popped up a comment, said, a lot of Democrats are looking for something else. Do you think that's going to apply in your district? Are there going to be Democrats who don't like, Biden, who were Bernie supporters, who are unhappy and may want to come to you?
No, I don't think so. I think the feel, especially for the seat that I'm running for, is always vote blue. So
is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So they're just gonna vote blue no matter what. If there's a D next to your name, they probably don't even need to know who you are.
Got it. Okay.
So
that's heavy anti-Trump sentiment in the Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I was at a NAACP forum, and there was a man running as a Republican who happened to be there, and they just ate him alive.
Yeah.
Like, I was embarrassed for him. Like, I couldn't believe the things that people were saying to him.
Yes. I remember one black church I went to in the Bronx where people left when they heard I wasn't a Democrat. They literally got up and left the church because I wasn't a Democrat. I've seen it happen too. I get it. It does. This is 2018.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's
and I'm from the Bronx.
Yeah.
So I'm in a black church in the Bronx. They hear I'm not a Democrat. They get up and they walk out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Just horrible. But so I'm hoping that more people will be able to change. So, by the way, someone is asking, Sam Robb, I need to get you on this show, by the way. Don't you dodging me. Stop dodging me, Sam. You gotta get you on the show. You're dodging me.
I'll get on.
In any case, people are asking, do you need help? How can people help you? If you're in Iowa and you need help, how can they help you?
So I don't need people to be in Iowa to help me.
Okay.
I do have a team of volunteers. We talk every single day. We have a lot of fun. We're a bunch of really cool people. So I do need help with social media. I do need help with content. I do need help with proofing. I do need help with press releases and finding, once we can get to events again, I do need help finding those places where I can strategically show up.
So how do they go to your website and click a contact us or something? How do they, if they want to help, what do they physically have to do?
So you can go to my website and sign up to volunteer. You can message me on my Facebook page, Matejka in the House on Facebook. So I respond to all of those personally.
I love it. Anything else you want to cover today before we wrap it up?
I don't think so. Is there? I was going to ask. You had a big announcement last week.
I did?
Yes, you did.
This show's about you, not about me.
Oh, I know, but I wanted to ask about that.
Ask away. Go ahead.
So you're, again, the last time we talked about the first time you ran as VP. And you're going to do it again?
Looks like it. Yeah. So
wait, does your wife know?
Of course. Look, I've been married this month was 18 years. I've been married 18 years with my wife 20, married 18. I'd like to keep her. I like her a whole lot.
Yes.
And I really want to keep her. So there is no way that I would run if she didn't say yes. There's no way I'd run if she didn't say yes. So yes, for those of you who didn't hear, in 2016, I'm a big Gary Johnson fan. I came into the party in 2012. My first vote ever for Libertarian was Gary Johnson, Judge Jim Gray ticket. Was absolutely my first vote. And so when Gary Johnson was running in 2016, I wanted to be his VP. I lost that vote to Bill Weld. I lost by 32 votes. Not that I'm counting. Myra, you're counting. I'm not counting. Stop talking about it, okay? I'm not talking about it. Not that I'm counting. Anyway, I lost by 32 votes. And I stayed in the party. That's when I became active. And I've been active in the party now for the past 4 years. I just counted up. I've been to 65 different either state or local LP conventions in the last 4 years. I've raised money for 20 different state affiliates, some more than once. And I've raised money for 10 separate candidates on their own that I've gone and raised money for 10 different candidates in those 4 years. So I've been very active. But I wasn't planning on running. If I would have run, I would have started running last year, right? That's what I did when I ran for governor. But Lincoln Chafee dropped out. And when Lincoln Chafee dropped out, people wanted Judge Jim Gray to run. And when Judge Jim Gray decided to run, he said, I want to run with Larry Sharpe. Hard for me to say no to Judge Jim Gray. But on top of that, once he asked, within half an hour, I got 6-7 phone calls saying, Larry, we support you. Larry, you got to do this. Larry, we support you. Larry, to do this. So I said yes. But I mean, look, if the party people really want it, I'm going to do it. I know there's a lot of people are saying things like, well, Larry, you didn't do the work. And I'm like, I'm doing it for 4 years, guys. 4 years.
You've done a lot of work.
That argument isn't a valid argument when it comes to me. That's not a valid argument. I've done the work. I've totally done the work. Now, if you think I'm not the right guy, totally valid argument. If you prefer your guy or gal, you rather go Dan Berman, you'd rather go Verman, you'd rather go Hornberger. I get that. Valid argument, 100%. The you haven't done the work argument, that's a bogus argument.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why it's different with the Libertarian Party and our presidential choices is that everybody, the entire spectrum that we represent brings valid arguments to the table. I mean, and they're needed in our philosophy, in the movement, and in the work that we do. So I don't think that there's ever I don't like this guy.
No, we do have that, right? And you brought up a point. This is a little bit off topic, but it's your fault, Myra. Just blaming you, okay? A little bit off topic, but I think it's a valid point I bring up often. The Libertarian Party does have some negative aspects to its culture. It has a culture that is not about abundance. It's a culture that's about scarcity. So we think, I've got to fight you to get what I want because there's so little of it. So constantly people are fighting each other. But not just that, we have a culture of losing for so many years, dozens of years of losing. So if we don't win amongst ourselves, then we don't win. But what I'm always saying is, I actually think we're all a family. I think long term. People are asking me, and this is controversial, but I say it. People are asking me, Larry, are you going to debate other VPs? No. I don't debate libertarians. Why? Because a month and a half from now, we're going to be buddies. Right. So why in the hell would I debate a libertarian, call him or her names, and then a month later go, well, I was kidding, vote for that person? See, how does that work with Democrats?
Now I know why you like Iowa so much.
Yes, that's exactly how Iowa is. Yes, Iowa, we talk. And don't get me wrong, I'm literally having, by the way, Spike Cohen, who is running against me, right, on this show on Friday. Because I want to have an open conversation with him. I don't want to debate him. He might win. I might be his communications chief in 2 months, right? I might be on CNN defending him and saying how awesome he is in 2 months. Why would I want to yell and scream at him? And I hope that if I win, he'll be doing the same for me. Right. So I'm happy to have an open conversation. He can tell me where he thinks I'm incorrect or wrong. I can tell him where I think he might be incorrect or wrong. But in reality, everyone in this party who's a libertarian, we're going to agree on 90% of almost everything. There's going to be some exceptions. Right. And I'm sure him and I will have disagreements. Of course we will. But we're still a family.
Yes.
And a month and a half from now, one of us is going to be supporting the other. Or maybe we both lose. And we're going to be supporting somebody else, right? Maybe we're both supporting McAfee, right? I mean, who the hell knows what happens, right? Him and I might be on TV supporting McAfee in 2 months. I mean, that could be the case.
Amazing. That would make my day.
I'm just saying that could be happening, right? So
Right.
this is the reason why, if you've noticed, I've been in the movement for 4 years, and I don't debate. I moderate debates because people like debates. I try to make them civil when I make debates. I try to make them valuable when I moderate debates. I try to make them valuable debates when I moderate them. I don't debate.
Right.
I debate others, non-libertarians, all day long.
Well,
I will debate non-libertarians all day long.
You can debate ideas. Don't debate people.
Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely. So yes. So anyway, I hope I at least answered your question. I'm running because the good judge asked me to run. There's a hole I saw in the movement for someone who I think has a lot of backing. I was surprised how many people were literally in the wings because a lot of the other candidates didn't motivate enough of the people in the party to jump on board. And I think when Judge Jim Gray jumped on, what I saw is a lot of people go, I'm in, boom, rush in. I mean, we literally had over 600 volunteers in a week. I mean, that's unheard of.
Well,
over
I think
people sign up in under a week saying we want in. To be sad for us, we weren't ready for it.
Right.
Our launch was a disaster because we weren't ready for it. It's terrible that our launch was a disaster. That's terrible. But the reason it was a disaster is awesome. We just were not ready for the immediate flood of people who wanted to jump on board. So I really believe in my heart. Again, please support. I know you like Dan. Please support who you want to support. Obviously, I hope at least if there's a second or third ballot, you might change your mind. So anyway, so we'll see. But I really believe that Judge Jim Gray is right now. I mean, I think he's the guy who's going to have the most backing, the most ability to have impact. That's my view.
I don't think the delegates can get it wrong this cycle. I honestly, there isn't one person that I think is worse than anybody else. So I think we have good choices.
Choices are good.
Choices are good. I like them.
All right. Thank you for coming on, Myra. I appreciate it. Thank you for your questions. I appreciate all of that. Glad you came on. People, pay attention. Head over to our website. I will talk to you guys all. Am I doing this? I think tomorrow or the day after. I forgot when my next one is. But I know Friday I'm doing one. I'll be talking to you guys very soon.
All right. Thank you.